Touring America is something I wanted to do since I first started playing music, and just thought it was about time I went out there and did it, really. We picked up our tour wagon for the trip. It was a
Nissan Sentra.
Yeah. So we're at JFK Airport, New York. Just picked up our tour wagon for the tour. Look at that!
Look at that beauty.
So yeah, we picked her up and made our way up for our first couple of dates up in Connecticut. First playing in New Haven, I believe.
Can't you take the chances if you will? Summon all your changes, pills for thrills.
Oh, Nagel for England.
Brent.
Oh!
That's all right, mate. Cheers. Yeah, this it's about 12 to 15 minutes away to get to Woodbridge.
And where's that?
This is where the gig is.
We've just arrived at the Amity Teen Centre in New Haven. There's strictly no drugs and alcohol, so it's gonna be one of those ones. That looks quite promising when we arrived. That was kind of a cool venue, good stage, good lights and stuff.
Every time you walked on out, she knew I'd follow you. I walk from start to end to was to be the one for you.
We actually got a lift home with a friend of ours that we made called Randy. She offered us a lift home and nearly killed us, about an inch away from totaling the car with a truck on the way home. So we played our first gig and nearly died, but we managed to get back to the hotel just about in one piece. The second gig was in Cheshire, and this was Paul's favourite gig.
This is my favourite gig.
Favourite gig of the tour.
This is amazing.
I've played a lot of gigs in my time. This was definitely my favourite gig. We showed up at the Funky Monkey Cafe, which turns out wasn't funky. There were no monkeys, and it was just a cafe.
It was a cafe, though.
Yeah, it was a cafe. To be fair, that part was true. It was a cafe.
It was a cafe that sold beer, though.
Hi everyone. This first song is about New Haven. It's called Never Going Back. Alright, thank you very much! Woo! Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, Jared.
This song's about getting out of New Haven. It's called Run to the Moon. This next song is about us leaving New Haven tomorrow. It's called Morning I'm Gone. Thanks, guys.
Well done.
Well done, Paul. This is cool, actually. We can now dedicate a song to everyone here twice. So, we've already done it before for Jared.
I think, yeah, what surprised me about that gig was just how badly the covers we picked went down.
Do you guys know a band called Eels? Back in England we called girls birds, do you know that? Yeah. This song's called I Love Birds.
But we had one guy, the only one the guy recognised was the David Brent Free Love Freeway. He loved it, that was great.
That was a song?
Yeah.
From The Office?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Someone knew it! Yes! Yes! I've been going on the tour! Yes!
Yeah. You give me permission. I give you permission.
As you're about halfway through, leave now and beat the traffic. You too. So I'd like to, I don't know if you guys know, or well, you probably won't, but I'd like to dedicate this to some friends back home. Some good friends of mine. Trigger, Boise, Delboy, Uncle Albert, Granddad. This song is about my ex-wife. It's called I Want a Divorce. Look cool to mine again. I've already done that one. Let's do something. But like I said, it was free beer, so that was okay. And then some more people came in luckily and actually made it a pretty fun night. So that actually turned out to be pretty cool. Yeah. So we left Connecticut after 2 of the weirdest gigs I think I've done. The first 2 of the tour, staying just outside of Yale University. So we kind of walk around the city with all these geniuses, and
it was quite the contrast. The geniuses and then us.
Yeah, yeah. And we were walking through the uni, and people were quite impressed. I think they thought we were English students, but we were just a couple of English idiots. So after that night, actually, we were feeling a bit worse for wear. Paul actually found him asleep in Starbucks on a table.
It's a good night though.
It was a good night. We had a great time.
Great time.
Hey, we just done a very, very hungover drive from New Haven to New York City. We're about to go and play our first show in New York, 3rd gig of the tour. If we can try and stay awake and not be sick, that'd be great.
Too hungover for this.
We headed over to a place called Pete's Candy Store. I think this was on a Wednesday night,
yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, it would have been Wednesday.
Yeah, and that was really cool actually. Great venue, and met some really nice people and stuff as well. So that was well worth playing.
Good talking.
Some seriously good talking.
Spending days driving classic cars, spending nights with the movie stars, shining women on South End bars, and it's alright, we'll never come down till we come around. We're never coming around. We're never coming around.
The next night we played another gig in New York, in Manhattan, and we played at Pianos, which was awesome.
That was a great gig.
Yeah, that was very good.
I want to enter world to be the one for you. We had our ups and downs, it's true, but mentioning the few. So take my hand, let's walk through space and let our souls run loose. Right to the moon.
That was by far, I think, the sweatiest, hottest gig I've ever played. Met some great people, and yeah, had a lot of shots at the bar, and yeah, had a great night. Paul and I even got in a dancing contest with a load of people later on in the night.
Yeah. They at one point they did, you know, they made a circle, people going in, doing these great moves. These guys can move as well. They did some great moves, and
like,
you know,
actual dancers,
dance
not
moves.
just a couple of pissheads.
You know, I thought I'd throw something, a curveball in there, and you know, pulled out the lawnmower, and you know, I was a legend to them.
Paul got a louder round of applause for his crap dancing than we did, I think, on the entire tour.
Pianos was great. We met some other fans there. Remember the fans you met? The fans you met. That was a great... Ben, why don't you elaborate on the fans?
When you're on stage, you can't hear a lot sometimes. You know, you can only kind of hear your guitar and your microphone or whatever. And these guys were kind of shouting us and stuff, and I was, you know, they're singing our praises and what have you, and yeah, and this guy was like, and you know, shouting away, and I was like, hey man, what's your name? And I thought he said Chain, but then he came to the bar and introduced his friend, this guy, and this guy came over, this Asian guy, and was like, hey, I'm Asian. I was kind of like, cool, great, good, cool man. Turns out their name was Shane and Jason, who just happened to be Asian.
You had a chance to redeem yourself though with Shane. When you went for the handshake and you...
It's another thing. It's another thing they do in America a lot. They do the handshake like that, you know, and you kind of go in
like the yo dog,
like the yo thing. And I went in with a pure English handshake, and there was a bit of an awkward. Paul and our friends at the bar didn't let me forget that all night.
Yeah, you just had a bad game that night. I mean, you tried to then make it up afterwards by getting the round of Jaeger bombs in.
Oh yeah.
And it turns out they thought we were mental for
Yeah, they don't.
And then you put the egg bomb in the beer.
Yeah.
You just had a really bad hour.
They gave me half a glass of Red Bull, but I still had half my beer. And while I was chatting to Shane, put the Jaeger bomb in my beer instead of the Red Bull, and as I said, it was probably my most uncool day I've ever had. So we arrived in New Jersey at the Ramada Hotel and realised we weren't actually staying in Toms River, we were staying on Highway 9. America is quite big. Who knew? It's been a long day. Ding! So then that night we played a gig at the Revolutionary Lounge, which was the most American gig I've ever seen. And before we went on, they even introduced us as the Redcoats, just as a bit of a kick in the arse before we went on. A lot of the acts before were getting quite emotional, and there's a lot of this spoken word stuff, which is kind of like crap poetry. They do a lot in America.
It's emotional. So emotional.
Yeah, emotional bad poetry, also known as spoken word. And so they did a lot of that before we went on, so then I kind of had a bit of fun with that.
So yeah, this is for a good friend of mine back home. Not going through, been through ups and downs, but still the funniest guy I've ever met in my life. And this song is for Alan Partridge. Stay young, stay young. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
We sang a song for Alan Partridge. They seemed to love that. Obviously thought it was quite a close friend of mine that was going through a hard time, so sorry about that.
So cruel.
The next night we were still in New Jersey, and we were supposed to have our first night off of the tour that night, but everyone was kind of, there's this open mic night thing at a place called Surf Tacos, and you guys should go down and play. It's really fun, kind of chilled out, have a few beers and stuff. So we were kind of like, well, you know, what else are we going to do? Sit in the hotel. So we were like, oh yeah, we'll play one more gig.
The highlight of that was me snapping my capo.
Yeah, Paul managed to break his capo in half when we were playing. Never seen that before, so that was a highlight. And we bumped into a new fan of ours in the hotel, who was a Marine. Yeah, hope he's.
He was about 6'5". He was huge.
So big. He said he asked if he could get a photo with us. I was thinking, I know one person in the world would ever say no to that man. So yeah, you're welcome for the photo, but we didn't really have a choice. We packed up the guitars and our bags, got back into the tour wagon, and left New Jersey and drove all the way down to Washington DC.
The Big Apple.
We arrived in Washington DC that evening, and that was our first night off from playing a gig and going out drinking, which was very much needed. We were supposed to play a gig that night at a pub called the Old Brogue.
The Old Brogue.
The Old Brogue. So it turned out it was like an hour's drive away again, and we were so tired.
But Ben, being the ever professional, wanted to play.
I did.
And we came up with a plan that you'd call them and kind of check.
Tell them we're not playing.
No, call them to scope out what it's like, you know, get a feel for the place, because it could be amazing. And, you know, you spoke to the guy.
So I called up this guy at the Old Brogue. I was like, oh hey man, you know, we're going to come down and play some gigs for you. Just wanted, you know, I was just kind of, I hope it, you know, just double check that, you know, it's still around and there's people go down there and stuff. It wasn't the best salesman I've ever heard. So I called up and said, you know, we're going to come down and play some. answered the phone exactly like that. All broke. So, hello mate. we want to come down and play some music for you. You know, what's you know, does it get busy? No. Oh, okay, but you do music. Yeah. I'll probably give that. Thanks very much, mate. We'll probably give that one a miss. We had our least rock and roll moment of the tour, not playing a gig that night and going and having a nice tapas.
Going on tapas for the first time.
Set meal for two, and the whole restaurant was full of middle-aged women.
Yeah.
Just women and us.
Yeah.
Got some
Hey,
looks
it's nice
when
that
we went in.
They're
It's nice they
can go in public.
Yeah. Bloody suits. Just checked into the Washington Plaza Hotel last night. First night off from the tour yesterday. Slept for 12 hours. We were pretty tired. So now we're re-energized, ready to crack on with the tour. We got an unplugged kind of show tonight at the Modern Times Coffee House. It should be quite fun. Today we're gonna walk around the city and check out the White House. Hopefully see Barack for a pint or something. And yeah, and we'll crack on. The next night in Washington, we head out to this gig, and it's called the Modern Times Coffee House, and it's in like this basement of a kind of bookshop thing. It looks kind of like a bit quirky and a bit cool and that, so we were kind of, we'll give it a try. But we got there real early, so we were like, oh, we'll go and grab some food. Nearly missed the gig while we're having a steak across the road, so nearly missed the whole thing. And but managed to get there in time. And it turns out it's like this really like left wing, like hippie, anti-government sort of thing going on in this basement. And we
Great coffee though. I was buzzing.
Yeah, and I asked for a beer and they didn't sell beer.
They didn't have beer, but the coffee was brilliant.
Once we said we were English, there was this woman that was sat about this distance from us when we were trying to play, just going, "Oi, oi, mate." Hi everyone, we're from London in England.
Oi.
We played a couple of songs and they wanted us to play a few more, so we played a few more. And then we finished on a song called Sunday that I wrote about when I heard that England was the drunkest country in Europe. So I wrote the song about it and didn't really think anything of it. And you know, I thought they kind of enjoyed it, and we kind of came on stage. And then this guy got on and did this spoken word rubbish poetry thing. I went on there and did this whole massive speech about how people were drinking too much.
It was the out of control drinking culture in Europe.
Yeah, the out of control drinking culture in Europe. We literally just sang a song pretty much glamorising it.
And trying to buy beer all night.
Yeah,
from the coffee
and
shop.
complaining that they didn't sell beer in the coffee shop.
Spending days driving classic cars, spending nights with the movie stars, shoving women on top in bars, and it's alright, we'll never come down till we come around. We're never coming around.
I think the thing that I loved about the tour that we did is that we literally played every kind of gig you could have played in a couple of weeks.
Apart from stadium.
Yeah, so basically, apart from busy gigs, apart from good gigs, we played every kind of bad gig you can imagine.
We've extensively played bad gigs.
So it's 7:30 p.m. Saturday night in Washington DC. We're at a bit of a dilemma at the moment because we're just about to go out and grab some beers, but all hell has broken loose outside. And what are your thoughts, Paul?
Ben, I'm scared.
Doesn't look great.
I'm really scared, Ben.
It really doesn't look good. There's hardly anyone out on the streets down there, and the only people that are like running for shelter. Oh my god, we're gonna die. We're gonna die! After that, we went out and we dropped our stuff back at the hotel, and then we went out drinking to this club, and they like doing tabs in America, and I put my card behind the bar, which I forgot I had no money on it, and I was kind of like getting all these rounds of things. I can't believe my card's lasting this long. So I thought they were charging each time. I was just racking up this huge bill, buying people drinks. I was like, I'll just kind of use it until it gets maxed out, sort of thing. And it obviously never got maxed out because it was on a tab. And at the end of the night, Paul had to pay my tab because I didn't have any money in my card. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no one was there dedicated to getting pissed apart from us. They were having fun and
It's
socialising.
weird.
These winding roads and lead is straight no more for me. I know that sounds foolish, but one day you'll agree. Can come and touch you when you're blind and you can't see. My life is far from done, so won't you take my hand? Come on, baby, and stay young. Won't you say
$4. That's it. Thanks. Cheers, love. She loved it. She wants the diddly.
Just so people get a flavour of what happens is you go into a new city, and then you'd be prepping for the gig, so you'd be sending out tweets, making sure the Facebook, if someone was coming down, you'd let them know, promoting it. Get to the hotel and a fan's replied to Ben. So we're ready, we're psyching ourselves up for a gig because that's what we do. The guys replied saying, I thought you were playing tomorrow night in Philadelphia.
Turns out I got the dates wrong, so sorry about
always
that.
prepare.
Yeah. Then we walked around the city and wanted to get something to eat. We were pretty tired anyway. And then we just went and ate in an English pub.
Yeah, which had the most pictures of the most dogs.
Yeah, it was
Dogs.
I think it was some sort of record for a restaurant that had most pictures of dogs in a restaurant. I don't know if that's,
it was
I don't know
the
if that's
nicest
necessarily that great, but I mean, well done to them, I guess though. So the next night we did play the gig. So we went down and played this venue called the Grape Room. That was really cool and that was great, and we met a couple of new friends that had driven down from New Jersey, I think, to watch us play. So thanks very much. Especially to Mike.
Go on, Mike.
For coming down and saying hello, and even got on the stage and played a song for us as well. Played a Rolling Stones cover for us, so very much appreciated that, mate. Thanks very much, they're very cool. My name's Ben McKelvey, we're from London. So yeah, that was great. That was really good fun. Had a load of beers and chatted with some great people and some great musicians that night as well, from rappers to all sorts of kind of different music and that. That was great. I really enjoyed it. That was one of my favourite on the tour. That was one of the best. That was good. That was good fun.
Cool. That was really cool.
And then went home to the hotel and made good use of the balcony by chucking a load of pizzas off it, as you do. So anyway, then after that we only had one gig left, back to New York. So we've again loaded up the car, had a couple hours sleep, loaded up the car with guitars and bags and stuff, and we're driving out of Philadelphia, and we had some friends in New Jersey that said, like, wherever you go on the tour, don't go to a place called Camden in New Jersey. Turns out it is the most dangerous city in America, isn't it? It's number one most dangerous city in America, so we kind of found that afterwards. after this happened, and we were kind of like, okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll, you know, bad neighbourhood or whatever. So we're kind of like, yeah, that's fine. We're not going there anyway. Anyway, so we're driving over the Ben Franklin Bridge, and the car's making a bit of a weird noise, and we're kind of ignoring it. And then everyone's kind of driving past and bibbing us and flashing us and being like, look to the state of the wheel, and the tyre had like exploded. How we didn't realise, and this thing was absolutely shredded to bits. We were driving on the rim of the wheel, so kind of, what do? We don't even know really where we were, and we were, you know, hungover, and we just needed to get back to New York, which is quite a long drive. We're on the hard shoulder, and Paul's on the phone to the car rental place, being like, you know, what do we do? Like, the thing's wrecked, and I've got, we needed an address to where we were, so I've jumped over this wall and run over to this building. I think, someone in there will know where we are. So I've run in what I didn't realise was a fire exit only, and run it through this other stairwell, and I'm banging on this door, and there's this class going on with all these students on their computers, and there's this kind of little glass window that I'm looking through, and I'm banging on the thing, and everyone's kind of looking over at me like who the hell are you? What do you want? I'm like, you know, we need some help. Just open the door. And they're all kind of like, you know, really reluctant to open the door. So, you know, and then I'm like, so just open the door. What are you doing? Just open the door. So this guy's got up like really reluctantly, like, oh, and he's gone to do it, and it's not budging. I'm like, just push the door, and he's kind of knocked it, and this massive alarm has gone off, and I obviously realised that I was on the other side of a fire exit alarmed door only, so they thought it was like an actual emergency.
Yeah.
So I ran. I didn't know what to do, so I just ran away. So I've run back down the stairway and come out, and the whole building's getting evacuated, and there's alarms going off and stuff.
You know, I've got on the phone to the repair people. He's bolted off and jumped over the bridge, and they've said, "Where are you?" So we're on a motorway, and I'm just looking around trying to find a sign, and the only sign I can see is exit, whatever it is, for Camden.
Yeah.
And that's when the penny dropped. But I'm on my own. This car's thing, I was like, then an alarm starts going off. I was like, what's going on? This police guy comes around the corner. There's like 4 squad cars behind us. So I was like, what the hell is going on?
Our tyres exploded on the Ben Franklin Bridge, and if you look behind us, we have a double police escort getting us off the road. Can you hear that? Anyway, they're kind of like, you know, sir, you gotta get off the bridge, and we're like, yeah, all right, mate. Well,
the emergencies only. This is
yeah, exactly. What the is that on emergency, mate? The tyres exploded. We look behind us, and we've got the 2 police escort lights on. We look down the rest of the road, causing such a massive traffic jam. We can move about 5 miles an hour. So when we've rolled this as we've rolled into Camden, we've pulled into some ghetto, and the police have gone, right, get all your stuff out of your car because you need to get the spare wheel out. So we've got all our guitars and stuff out, cameras, everything, and with the spare wheel, I kid you not, was like a bike wheel, wasn't it? I mean, it was about this thick. So we go, oh, what are we going to do with this? And like, we didn't know what we were doing. So they said, look, we've called someone. They need to have a look at your car, make sure you can still drive or whatever. So we're standing there outside the car with all of our gear out on show. We might as well have been wearing t-shirts that said rob us. And luckily the pickup truck got there pretty quick and fixed us up. And then we had to drive all the way back to New York at about
52 miles an hour.
52 miles an hour.
And we got to about, this is right at the end of the trip, we're 20 miles out of New York. And I figured out where the cruise control was.
Yeah. We dropped off the car, kind of, they had a quick look, but I don't think they saw that the wheel was busted, and we just got our stuff and we're like, yeah, alright, see ya. And we played our last gig the following night at a venue called the Rockwood. Thanks very much for having us in America. This last one's full of mods in England. It's good to stay young.
What you
last gig in New York that night at the Rockwood on the 10th of September. And then obviously the next day is a very solemn, emotional day for you know, well, for a lot of people, but especially the people in New York. And we're sitting in this bar having something to eat, and these firemen walk in. I've seen they're all buying whiskies and, you know, raising a glass to absent friends and stuff. So I said to our waitress, "I'll make sure you get a round of drinks from us, so just put it on our bill for them." And they were so thankful and so humble for it that they said, "Oh, you know, they asked us to join us for a drink and to raise a glass to New York."
They said if we came back, we're more than welcome to.
Yeah, they're really funny guys actually. They were on the phone to their captain. They'd obviously had a few during the day, and I didn't think by midday I'd be back on the whiskies after that. But you know, you're not gonna.
They were seeing the whiskies off while we were having lunch. They were going through.
So we were kind of cracking some whiskies back with them, and they were on the phone to their captain, being like, "We've met these guys. They're musicians. Can we get them to come see the trucks?" And you can always tell the captain on the other end was like, "No." So there we have it. We had 9 gigs in about 14 days or whatever it was, and just wanted to say a massive thank you to the bands we played with, the promoters that we played for, but most importantly everyone that watched us and came and said hello, we had a beer with, and all the new friends we met. You made it great and made it exactly what it was for us. And on the plane home we were already talking about how we're going to come back next year, so maybe West Coast, who knows. So thanks very much, and see you again.
Yeah, thanks everyone.